one right here.
所以呢，对他来说呢，最重要的需要矫正的东西就是那一分
So
的。
if we fix this one, it should make this one easier. It should make this overhead squat even easier. It'll help his push-ups and his rotary stability a little bit more. Even though they're threes, everything can get better if we fix that.
那这个肩关节活动度这个东西，如果可以修正的话呢，所以它的转体稳定性是一定会进步的，那2分是可以因此而进步的。那刚刚那个过头深蹲的时候，那个3呢，就是有3啦，但是呢，看起来有点勉强。那不过还是3。那不过呢，如果说这个肩膀的那个部分可以修正的话，那以后3就变很轻松。
牵引法的动全身力，好。
So also with that, what we know is when someone has 1-1 on each side, we don't want to be doing any super heavy pulling, pushing, overhead snatches until we can get this to a 2-2.
那其实呢，肩膀呢至少要到2-2，我们才可以做负很重的这个重量训练。那这个上肢重量训练几乎包括全部了，你的这个推的卧推、拉的各个方向多方向推拉，还有抓举这种手要举很高的这种动作呢，都不合适的所以说在这个阶段呢，这个东西不能加重，直到我们把他的手矫正到2-2以后，这几个动作才可以加重量。
So maybe with him for his warm-up, we do some breathing, and then we do some of the rotations, and then we do some shoulder stretching, and then we can take him to a 2-2 for the workout, and then we can do our heavy pushing and pulling.
那有些时候我们可以这样子做，我们用呼吸的，然后还有这个转体的，就是第一天我们要讲到这个身体怎么转这个，然后还加上这个肩关节伸展动作。这3个东西加起来，可以让他在训练前暂时达到2-2的话，那他当天就可以压重量。
And then the next workout he comes in, we see if it's a 1-1 or a 2-2, so then we know if he's getting better or if he's staying the same.
那接着呢，我们每一次都可以持续的一直观察他的肩膀这个1和1的这种情形有没有经过一段时间慢慢的改进。如果说又回到1-1了，那我们还是得要再重复。
Let's make up a fake person.
那么现在呢，就不管他的分数了，我们来重新弄个假的分数。
Okay, so where, alright, so you want to just go through this? So their shoulders are 3-3,
好，假设有人分数肩膀是3-3，
their active straight leg raise is a 2-1,
好，仰卧举腿是2-1，
push up is a 1,
俯卧撑是1，
rotary stability 2-2,
然后转体稳定性2-2，
inline lunge is a 3-2,
然后直线跨步是3-2，
hurdle step 2-2,
然后跨栏是2-2，
overhead squat 2-2.
深蹲是2。
So what we want to do is you want to circle all the asymmetries and the ones.
那我们要怎么样处理这种人呢？首先第一个是我们要圈起还有圈起这个不对称，然后圈起
So active straight leg raise was an asymmetry because it's a 2-1.
这个不对称很重要，第一个先抓到。
Push up was a 1.
1分的，对。
And then inline lunge was a
直线
3-2.
跨步也是不对称的。
So remember, because these are most important, that if we fix this and fix the active straight leg raise and the push up, this should get better on its own without me even doing anything.
那从这 FMS 的这个设计的这种层次来看，其实呢，我们如果可以修复上面的2-1以及这俯卧撑的1，那其实直线跨步搞不好自己会变好。
So all we want to do is take this 1 and make it a 2.
那我们的目标就是把那个1分的变2分，
Take this push up, make it a 2.
把1分的都变2分。
And then this could be a 3, 3, or 2, 2. Both are good.
那这个直线跨步呢，不管是变成3-2还是变成2-2，这里3-3还是2-2，都是好的。
So we would use our, maybe we do some breathing and the leg lowers.
那这个要矫正这个仰卧举腿的话呢，我们可以用深呼吸的方式来训练，还有这个仰卧放腿的方式来练习。
And then we do some core work with a lot of push-ups for a few weeks. And then maybe we fix these two and make this better.
那再来呢，就是浮力挺身的地方呢，可以用浮力挺身来矫正，多做浮力挺身。当这2个东西都进步了，我们就可以让后面的。
Does that example make sense to everybody?
所以这个逻辑大家有看出来。What's worse? A 1-1 and a 1-3. Which one is worse?
Route 1-3.
1-3.
Because that means, for example, that means this arm is moving great, and then this arm is barely moving at all. So that means if I go to do a bench press, it'll probably look like this.
我刚问他的一个问题是说，如果有一个2侧的分数，有一个人是1-1，有一个人是3-1，哪一个人比较糟？他说其实3-1比1-1还糟，因为呢1-1是少，它是坏对称的，3-1一边很好一边不好，那就卧推一边好一边不好的人，他可能会单手推，然后让身体去转，所以不对称比低分还要严重。
So, for example, if she was my client with a bad ankle, maybe she can split squat really well on this side, and then when she goes to this side, she can't do anything at all because this ankle in the back hurts so bad.
那所以就像我们刚讲说，美竹姐她有这个踝关节开过刀，那这种开刀是开一边的，所以这种人通常都会一边蹲得很好，一换脚就连蹲都蹲不下去，那这就是比较要注意的地方。
More questions?
I already gave the answer, but the question was, we can use breathing to fix the shoulder mobility, and what about some stretches that work too, right?
Right, so both of them together will work
那其实他们2个都会做，
work even more. So
加起来是效果是更好的。
you'll get, with the breathing, you'll get about 20% more ranges of motion, but there's still another 60 to 80% you need to get back. So that's where stretching comes in, that's where a manual therapist comes in.
那所以呼吸的，我们昨天讲呼吸决定了关节活动度的20%，所以肩膀的话，你呼吸它可以进步个20%。那不过呢，还有另外60-70%，你用别的方法来进步了，包括这个按摩可以放松，包括伸展可以放松。
But don't forget lifting heavy weights correctly is just as important, because if I go and do crappy chin-ups, it's gonna negate everything that you did.
那还有另外一个很重要的事情，就是用标准的动作做重量训练，跟做矫正动作是一样重要的。如果你这边矫正，另外一方面用错的方式在做重量训练的话，就把这个矫正动作的效果就把它消除掉，抵消掉。
Good question. Any more questions?
The rolling question, the one, okay.
那个你说像是那个运动员，有必要矫正到一样吗？比如说是一个直拍选手。
So yeah, so for asymmetrical sports,
Yep.
do we need a symmetrical for everything?
No.
No.
If I had a baseball player, I would
棒球选手，
expect this to be a 2-3.
棒球选手的肩膀很可能是个2-3，
But that's a special case.
但这是比较特殊的 case 了。
But even then, it shouldn't be so drastic, like a 3-1, because that's too much asymmetry.
但即使你可以容许它在好的层次有一点不一样，一个2分 OK， 然后3分更好，但是你不希望它是1分3分，1分3分他就觉得有必要矫正了。
And the more screens you do with more of your athletes, you'll notice a common trend. So some things will become more acceptable then, so example, you wouldn't want, maybe a track athlete has a little bit of an ASLR turnout with the feet, but you don't want it to be drastic on one side and drastic and way better on the other side.
像这个仰卧举腿的时候，有一些选手呢，他的确会有一点因为这个项目而特有的这种动作的这个不同啊，例如说像这个有一些田径选手，因为他特别侧重某一边，所以说呢，这个他的仰卧举腿呢，可能一边会好一点，一边或者说一边会往外转，一边不会。那其实小幅度，你看同类型的选手都有同样的趋势，那可能不是什么大问题。可是如果说差很多的话，它就会是个问题。
另外一个问题就是他的认知就只有0到3分嘛，就是算认知算很大，就是为什么不会是更细，或者5分，或者是更？因为如果是对选手来说的话，他的这个可能我们看的东西会期望是更细，为什么他更是更？
This is probably off the topic, but the scoring systems only 0, 1, 2, and 3. And why didn't they, when setting up the system, have a more precise or more numbers, more levels? Because
They're trying to make it for the masses, and they're trying to make it as simple as possible. So to get within a range is enough to say that that person can do that movement well enough that if they go and do something outside of here, like play a sport or lift heavy weights, that their likeliness to get injured is lower. That's not to say that they won't get injured. That's just to say the likeliness of it happening is much smaller than if I go and lift heavy overhead press with somebody who has very bad shoulder mobility.
那这个其实是当初在设计这个分数的时候呢，你知道它的分数设计的 range 非常非常大，所以同样一个2分，这2个人可能做的是完全不一样，错完全不一样的方法。不过呢，当初在设计这个东西的时候，是为了要筛减那个运动伤害的风险，也就是说他们在找一个临界值，过了这个东西，过了这一个临界值以后，风险会变大，低于这个临界值的时候，风险是小的。那也就是说，即使这里面风险小的人可能每个表现都不一样，风险大的人每个表现不一样，但是我们就是抓这个运动伤害的风险而已。那过了这一点之后呢，其实再细分说好，然后更好还更好。如果他们的运动伤害风险是相似的话，把它分在同一类就 OK 了。那其实呢，它这里面的那个它其实有刻意简化的功能，刻意简化的目的就是越简单越好。那就算你是得了3分，不表示你是受伤是0风险的，你还是有风险，只是说那风险比2分以下的显著小得多。所以2分跟1分的话，1分就是风险就很大。
Yeah, what time
It's a 5 minutes.
what I'll do is when we do our stuff out there, that way everyone can roll together and practice and watch other people roll.
我刚刚问他一个问题，就是它里面有滚动、翻滚训练，这个很好玩。
And I think that's part of
下午在做。
that's part of that sheet that I gave you guys that we're finished today too.
OK， 那个翻滚动作也在他们的课表里面，那我们下午把那张课表上完，所以下午的时候再做这个动作。
So let's take a 10-minute break and then Mike should be with you guys.
OK， 那么休息，maybe 5 minutes break.
5 or 10 minutes. Yeah. I don't know when he'll be here. So he's generally kind of late. So maybe take 5 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
那休息10分钟，好不好？那个Polio 教练随时会来啊。不过依照惯例，他说了，依照惯例他通常会迟到。以他们跟他相处的经验，所以呢10分钟 OK 哈，虽然会超过11点，不过大家不要走远。Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
他的关了吗？
没有关。
关了，这没关系啊，不用刻意跨过。